You know, we usually think of music as art, right? Entertainment. But what if a song could be just as dangerous as a weapon? What if a melody could be used to recruit soldiers, build a criminal empire, and strike fear into anyone who gets in the way? So today, we're going to peel back the layers of one particular song and see exactly how it's been weaponized.
Okay, so let's get right down to it. One of our sources makes this really bold claim. An artist named Makabelico is creating propaganda for the Cartel Del Noreste. That's a huge accusation. So let's dig in and see if it actually holds water. So how are we going to do that? Well, we have to go right inside the music itself. We're going to take apart one of his songs, literally, lyric by lyric, to figure out what its real purpose is.
All right, the song we're putting under the microscope today is El Tartas by Makabelico. Now, this song is part of a really long tradition in Mexico of ballads called corridos. More specifically, it's what you'd call a narco-corrido. It's a type of song that tells these epic stories about the lives and, yeah, often the deaths of drug traffickers. This song is going to be our case study to see how that tradition is being used right now.
I mean, right from the very first lines, the song just starts building this legend of El Tartas. He gets a nickname, he gets his cartel affiliation, a super powerful symbol, and this really dark motto. See, the song isn't just telling a story, it's actively creating a myth.
So how exactly do these lyrics build an entire world and a worldview? Well, let's break this song down. We're going to look at 3 core themes to see how this whole narrative is put together piece by piece. Okay. First up, loyalty. You know, every powerful group, they need a compelling origin story for their members, right? Something that makes them fiercely loyal. And this song, it delivers exactly that. This one line, it is so incredibly powerful. I had nothing. It's framing the cartel as more than just an employer. It's framing them as a savior. It's that classic story of being rescued from poverty, which builds this foundation of deep, unwavering loyalty. The message is clear. He wasn't just recruited. He was saved.
And all of that loyalty, it gets channeled directly into the song's next big theme, the glorification of violence. I mean, the lyrics don't just admit that this life is brutal. No, they celebrate it. They hold it up as a source of honor and power.
And listen to this line. It's really chilling. The lyric isn't just about accepting a violent death. It's presenting it as a badge of honor. Dying with 10 bullets is framed as a better, more glorious end than dying with just 1. It completely reframes dying in a firefight as like the ultimate achievement.
And the song really builds out this culture of violence with a ton of specific details. You've got name drops of high-powered weapons, which are basically status symbols. It talks about the sheer weight of body armor and ammo, which really drives home this idea that they're in a constant state of war. And then you get these huge declarations like, "We are hell." It even throws in a reference to the war in Ukraine, trying to paint the character's life as this grand, epic struggle.
Okay, and finally, the song takes El Tartas from being just a soldier and turns him into this mythical figure. And it does this by weaving in some really powerful cultural and religious symbols. This, right here, is where simple storytelling crosses over into full-blown myth-making.
So the language here is really clever. It's doing 2 things at once. Okay, so pata de cabra, that means goat's foot, is a common nickname for an AK-47. But it's also a pretty direct reference to the devil, right? The devil's hoof? So the question becomes, is he named after his favorite weapon, or is it something way darker? The song deliberately blurs that line, and what you get is this fearsome, almost demonic persona.
And it doesn't stop there. The song pushes this duality even further. I mean, in the very same breath, the character is calling on St. Jude, who's the patron saint of lost causes, by the way. He's calling on him for protection, while also saying he carries the evil one on his back. So he's blessed and he's damned. He's holy and unholy. And this creates this image of a guy who just operates outside of all the normal rules, you know? He's protected by forces from both heaven and hell.
So what happens when you put all these pieces together? What do you get? Well, you get this incredibly well-crafted narrative. This isn't just a random collection of cool-sounding lyrics. No, this is a story with a very strategic purpose.
And if you look closely, the song follows a pretty clear formula. Step 1, create a hero. Step 2, give him that classic origin story that binds him to the organization. Step 3, define the code they live by. Violence is honor, death is glory. And then step 4, wrap the whole thing in these powerful symbols to build a brand that is both terrifying and, weirdly, alluring.
Now, To make this whole myth feel real, the song drops in these very specific details. It mentions El Mando Tartas 22, which gives him a real command number and a territory, or a plaza. It's a small detail, but it's crucial. It grounds this larger-than-life story in what feels like reality. It suggests to anyone listening that El Tartas isn't just some character in a song, he's a real commander out there with real power. And all of this brings us right back to our original question. Does this music actually function as propaganda? Well, when you look at the strategic purpose behind this whole narrative, the answer starts to get a lot clearer.
When you break it all down, the song serves several key functions for the cartel. Think about it. It's an advertisement for new recruits, it's a morale booster for the guys who are already in, it's a straight-up threat to their rivals, and it's a brand-building tool for the public. This is music being used as a strategic weapon.
But maybe the most telling line in the whole song is this one. The character comes right out and admits he's a gangster, but then he says, "You see something else when you see me patrolling." That tells you everything. The song is completely self-aware. It knows it's crafting an image. It's deliberately transforming a simple criminal into something more, something to be feared, respected, and maybe even admired.
And that leaves us with a really difficult question, doesn't it? When a story is so carefully and deliberately crafted to recruit people, to intimidate rivals, and to build the brand of a criminal organization, is it really just a story anymore? We've seen all the pieces of this propaganda machine, how they all fit together. But that line between art and a call to arms, it's a really blurry one. And honestly, in the world of weaponized music, that line might not even exist at all.